but our destiny beyond the earth. When it comes to defending America, it is not enough to merely have an American presence in space. We must have American dominance in space, but a matter of national security. I'm hereby directing the Department of Defense and Pentagon to immediately begin the process necessary to establish a Space Force as the sixth branch of the armed forces. There are millions and millions of people that want to go there, that want to see it. I won't talk to you about what I know about it, but it's very interesting. But Roswell's a very interesting place with a lot of people that would like to know what's going on.
Before you leave office, will you let us know if there's aliens? Because this is the only thing I really want to know. I want to know what's going on. Would you ever open up Roswell and let us know what's really going on there?
So many people ask me that question.
So you're saying you may declassify?
Oh.
You'll take it?
Well, I'll have to think about that one, right?
Aliens exist and President Trump knows about it. That's according to Israel's former space security chief. In an interview with an Israeli newspaper, he said the aliens have been waiting until today for humanity to develop and reach a stage where we will understand in general what space and spaceships are.
And it comes from the man who headed Israel's space security program for nearly 30 years. Chaim Eshed is making the extraordinary claim that the United States and Israel have been in contact with a group of aliens for years, not immigrants, but extraterrestrials. He has called them the Galactic Federation of Aliens, and he says President Trump is aware of the existence of these aliens and had been on the verge of revealing their secrets, he claims, but was asked not to do so by the Federation in order to prevent mass hysteria. Well, the retired general says the US and Israel kept it from the public because, quotes, humanity isn't ready and the aliens don't want to reveal themselves until humanity can evolve, he says, and understand what space really is. He claims an agreement has been reached between the US government and the aliens, a contract to do experiments here. There's also, he says, a secret underground base on Mars where there are American and alien representatives. Now, this former head of a branch of Israel's defense ministry is 87. He was very well respected. And he said all this in an interview with an Israeli newspaper in Hebrew, but it's really taken off after parts of it were published in English by the Jerusalem Post today. He says he's come forward now in the hope that his news will be accepted as true. He notes that if he'd made these claims 5 years ago, he would have been hospitalized, but now he says, I've got nothing to lose. Well, so far, President Trump has not tweeted about this, though remember a year ago, he did set up the Space Force as the fifth branch of the US Armed Forces.
My administration is reclaiming America's heritage as the world's greatest spacefaring nation. The essence of the American character is to explore new horizons and to tame new frontiers. But our destiny beyond the earth is not only a matter of national identity, but a matter of national security. So important for our military, so important, and people don't talk about it. When it comes to defending America, it is not enough to merely have an American presence in space. We must have American dominance in space. So important. Very importantly, I'm hereby directing the Department of Defense and Pentagon to immediately begin the process necessary to establish a Space Force as the sixth branch of the armed forces. That's a big statement. We are going to have the Air Force and we are going to have the Space Force, separate but equal. It is going to be something so important. Legions of welders and metal workers, scientists and engineers stand ready to build a powerful new rocket and gleaming new spaceships, and that goes with all of the other things that we're building in our country. Our nation of pioneers still yearns to conquer the unknown because we are Americans and the future belongs totally to us. Once more, we will launch intrepid souls blazing through the sky and soaring into the heavens. Once more, we will summon the American spirit to tame the next great American frontier. And once more, we will proudly lead humanity. And that's what it is. It's humanity beyond the earth and into those forbidden skies, but they will not be forbidden for long. Remember, economically, militarily, scientifically, in every way, there's no place like space. It's a big deal. As the newest combatant command, SPACECOM will defend America's vital interests in space, the next warfighting domain. And I think that's pretty obvious to everybody. It's all about space. The dangers to our country constantly evolve, and so must we. Now, those who wish to harm the United States, to seek to challenge us in the ultimate high ground of space, it's going to be a whole different ballgame. Our adversaries are weaponizing Earth's orbits with new technology targeting American satellites that are critical to both battlefield operations and our way of life at home. Our freedom to operate in space is also essential to detecting and destroying any missile launched against the United States. Spacecom will soon be followed, very importantly, by the establishment of the United States Space Force as the sixth branch of the United States Armed Forces. The Space Force will organize, train, and equip warriors to support Spacecom's mission. Spacecom will ensure that America's dominance in space is never questioned and never threatened, because we know the best way to prevent conflict is to prepare for victory. It's so important from a defensive standpoint, from an offensive standpoint, from every standpoint.
The United States has been a spacefaring nation for decades, but we know that our adversaries in the last several years have weaponized space. They've made it a war-fighting domain. And so with the establishment of Space Force and the establishment of Space Command, the United States is now doing what it needs to do to protect our assets in space and to ensure that space remains the heavens by which we not only protect America, but we sustain our economy, we sustain our commercial capabilities, we sustain Americans' way of life.
Very, very great honor. It's a great honor. That's a beautiful flag, too.
Delta in the middle is a symbol that the space community has used for years and years and years. The North Star signifies our core value, our guiding light, if you will. And the orbit around the globe signifies the space capabilities that fuel our American way of life and our American way of war.
The woman that you said was a great doctor in that video that you retweeted last night, she's also made videos saying that doctors make medicine using DNA from aliens.
Rather, they use all kinds of DNA, even alien DNA, to treat people.
And that they're trying to create a vaccine to make you immune from becoming religious.
Well, maybe it's the same, maybe it's not. I can tell you this. She was on air along with many other doctors, and I thought she was very impressive in the sense that from where she came, I don't know which country she comes from, but she said that she's had tremendous success with hundreds of different patients, and I thought her voice was an important voice, but I know nothing about her.
One of the things you have as president is the access to all the information in the world, all the mysteries out there. We're reading more and more reports of Navy pilots seeing lots and lots of UFOs. Have you been briefed on that? What do you make of it?
I have. I think it's probably, I want them to think whatever they think. They do say, I mean, I've seen and I've read and I've heard, and I did have one very brief meeting on it, but people are saying they're seeing UFOs. Do I believe it? Not particularly.
Do you think you'd know if there were evidence of extraterrestrials?
Well, I think our great pilots would know. And some of them really see things that are a little bit different than in the past. So we're going to see, but we'll watch it. You'll be the first to know.
The federal government is being increasingly open about its decades-long investigation of UFOs. They've spent millions of dollars, and officials admit now they've seen many things they don't understand. We decided to ask the president about it. It was his semi-cryptic answer. You gave an interview the other day in which you said you've been briefed on unidentified flying objects. Are they real?
Well, I don't want to really get into it too much, but personally, I tend to doubt it. I mean, you have people that swear by it, and pilots have come in and they said, and these are pilots that are not pilots that are into that particular world. But we have had people saying that they've seen things. I'm not a believer, but I guess everything's possible.
We spoke to a government official recently who said the U.S. government had wreckage from a UFO in a facility on an Air Force base. Are you familiar with that?
I haven't heard that. No, I haven't heard that. It has not been within government, has not been a big thing, but I've seen it. Seen it on your show, but I've seen it. I don't assume it's correct, but I have an open mind, Tucker. But nowadays you can believe anything, right?